Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Joni Rampola, one of the registered licensed dietitians with your Giant and Martins. And today in our Fresh Finds class, we are talking about simple swaps for the big game, and specifically going to talk about a recipe, buffalo cauliflower bites. So the big game, not a time that we think of as healthy, fun party food, but we can do some things that create a little bit of a healthier twist. So according to time.com, a typical 4-hour game, Americans consume an average of 2,400 calories from food and drink and about 121 grams of fat. That is more than most people may need in a typical day. So today we want you to leave with some ways to stay in the zone. And I'm using some football language here. Stay in the zone with your game day favorites with a little bit healthier twist. So food is a big tradition for the big game. So we don't want you to feel deprived at all, right? We want you to enjoy what you do, but just talking about some smart little swaps. So we want you to enjoy the game and also feel good after eating, right? That's what the goal is. So again, I'm using my football terms here. Here's your offensive strategy before the game. So sometimes we think, oh, I know I'm going to that event and I may eat or drink a little more calories than normal, so I'm not going to eat breakfast or eat lunch, right? Save up. But that's really not the best strategy. It could be really helpful when you kick off with breakfast. So what that means is, having that breakfast that you're not ravenously hungry by the time you get to the big game, because sometimes the food at the big game isn't the most nourishing food, right? So you want to tackle that hunger earlier on. And sometimes if you think about it, you can create a plan for watching the big game. Will you be someone that huddles with friends, right? Making those connections and hanging out with people that you enjoy being with is part of the fun. You don't want to huddle so much around the food table, huddle with friends. Can you be active during commercial breaks? Something to think about, can you get up and move or are you just going to sit there for 4 hours? And sometimes depends on how stressful the game is, right? But yeah, and then can I punt the excess alcohol? So if part of your plan before you go is to think about how many drinks will I have? 0, 1, 2, 3. Have that number in mind ahead of time and try and stick to that plan, no matter what that number is. Offensive strategy during the game. So when I get there and I see the food, you want to kick off with fiber. Fiber could be veggies and dip, a chili, or even a bean dip. You want to avoid a bad food blitz by bringing your own healthy entree if that's what it takes, so there's something that you can kick off with fiber and enjoy. Don't let your eating go off sides when you have a plan and you can stick to it. You want to enjoy what you do, but also can be fun. And then there's a defensive strategy. So on the defensive side, intercept those high calorie or fatty snacks. Maybe pass on the bigger portions. When the game gets tense, oh, and I know this from my son firsthand, have vegetables or gum to keep your mouth moving. Sometimes in those tense moments, people just need to chew. So, like my son, he has carrots and celery sticks, and he will go through like a couple pounds during a game if it's really tense. Just got to keep that mouth moving, helps you feel better. But if it's not high calorie, high fatty food, better for you. All right, we are going to talk about some simple swaps, upgrading ingredients to help energy levels and digestion. You want your food to still be crowd friendly, right? Something people enjoy, have better balance, a little more fiber, a little more protein, a little less heaviness, but a similar flavor. Like this is a picture of a pizza that we added herbs and veggies and things to just increase the nutrition of it. Other game day swaps, nachos. You can load those nachos up with veggies. This is one that actually has butternut squash and it's a turkey, so it's a little bit less fat instead of beef. Chips, instead of chips, maybe an air pop popcorn. Sliders are always fun on game day, but maybe they could be a turkey or a vegetarian slider instead of beef that has a little bit more saturated fat and calories in it. You can make your queso dip with Greek yogurt, or instead of soda, maybe try a sparkling fruit water. Even add whether it's fruit or lemon or cucumber or mint, add some flavor to it that makes it just fun for you. So keep the flavor profiles familiar. Colorful plates can feel more festive. So these are just some of my ideas, I'm in a store today, walking through the store that I saw that I went, what can I assemble to bring that might be fun and a little bit lighter? So instead of traditional ranch dressing, I'll take some non-fat Greek yogurt, mix it with a packet of ranch dressing, and have on the side my carrots and celery, and it makes a really nice dip. Or this could be the dip that goes with wings, that ranch dressing. You get a little more protein, a little probiotics in there. It's a really nice combination. And then sliders. I like to add soup mix to the meat, and that just makes it taste nice, gives it more flavor, put a little bit of cheese on top, and this could be a really good, easy slider recipe to bring to a game. If you know me, one of my favorites is dark chocolate hummus with some strawberries or any fruit, apple slices, or even pretzel sticks or graham crackers. Just something fun to snack on. You get that nice chocolate flavor, and even though it has sugar in it, the dessert hummus, it still has chickpeas. So give you a little bit of protein and nutrients. And then buffalo chicken dip. So most people make their buffalo chicken dip with cream cheese. And I know it sounds weird, but it doesn't taste any different. I use cottage cheese and I actually put a little scoop of Greek yogurt in there also. And you could either use canned chicken or pull off the chicken from a rotisserie chicken. Add your cheese and buffalo wing sauce to make a delicious buffalo chicken dip. And then just swap strategy. There are 4 main strategies that if you could think about during the game, that might be helpful. One is bake instead of fry, right? So whether it's French fries, you can bake them off, or your wings, you can bake them off. Be nice. Add a vegetable. Where can I add a vegetable to what I'm doing? Like in those nachos, can I add an extra vegetable or maybe even a bean to my nachos? Can I boost protein? Like in my dressing, maybe add some Greek yogurt with the ranch, or in my chicken dip, buffalo chicken dip, maybe I can add some cottage cheese to boost the protein instead of cream cheese. Can I lighten sauces and dips? So those four rules can apply to almost any party food. And if you think about how you can make that party food just a little bit better, that's awesome. And it'll help you build your own swap for a recipe that you know and love. So we want you to enjoy everything, right? But building a balanced plate helps you feel better during the game. So what does a balanced plate look like for game time? Maybe it's half your plate is veggies, a quarter is protein, and the other quarter fun food. You decide what that is and what it looks like. But if you get your veggies and protein in there, typically you feel good. There's no food guilt about it, like that's a plan. It helps energy stay steady throughout that game. It prevents overeating later and also encourages a little bit more mindfulness. When you have the fiber from veggies and the protein together, you think clearer, you feel a little bit fuller, and that fullness lasts a little bit longer. All right, so classic swap. Wings, and we all love our wings, right? Who doesn't? But just something, if you want to consider something different, a buffalo cauliflower bite. It has the same bold flavor that comes from that buffalo wing sauce, but there's less grease, there's more fiber. Both people that are vegetarian and meat eaters like it. And instead of the ranch dressing, we can use that Greek yogurt ranch where you mix the packet in your Greek yogurt. It adds that prebiotics and a little bit more protein. So it becomes more satisfying and satiating. You feel fuller. So this is the recipe, and I have the links to both Giant and Martin's there on the right-hand side. It does earn one guiding star. And what guiding stars are, it's our nutrition navigation system to add more good stuff to your cart and life. You find it if you're in a store to the right of the price on the shelf tag, like you see in this picture. Or if you're shopping online, you have to click on the item that you want to see if it earns a star, scroll down, and then where the nutrition information is, you could see if there's a guiding star there. Guiding stars is also a filter if you're ordering online, so you can just filter by guiding stars in different categories. If something earns a guiding star, it has more vitamins, minerals, fiber, whole grains, omega-3 fatty acids, and less saturated fat, trans fat, added sodium, added sugar, and other additives like artificial color to limit. 1 star is good, 2 stars is better, 3 stars is best. And our savory recipe site, those recipes also, some of them earn guiding stars, 1, 2, or 3. And any star that it earns is a worthy recipe, right? So yes, as I said, you can find guiding stars on the shelf tag. If it's our brand packaging, sometimes it's even on the package itself, the store brand. You can find it in savory recipes. Sometimes you'll see it in the weekly circular or the weekly ad. They don't put it on every item. It takes up too much space. So if something doesn't have a star in the weekly circular, that doesn't mean it doesn't earn one. Sometimes you'll find them in our dietitian materials or our brochures or signs. So this is the recipe. It's 1 medium head of cauliflower, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of low-fat milk or plant-based milk of your choice, 1 teaspoon of paprika for flavor, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and you want to melt that butter ahead of time, 1/3 of a cup of buffalo wing sauce, and then to serve it, with chopped chives on top and a ranch dressing of your choice or make your own to serve. And these are the steps. You preheat your oven, line a large baking sheet with parchment, cut the cauliflower into small florets, mix about 8 cups. In a large bowl, you combine the flour, the milk, the paprika, the garlic powder. You season with salt and pepper. You add the cauliflower to the batter. So I just put it right there in the bowl and just mixed it all up, coating each piece evenly. And the batter does become thick. You pour the mixture into a prepared baking sheet. And I like to say I picked my cauliflower out with a slotted spoon. So I didn't just pour it as it kind of says, because you don't want to get the liquid all over because it'll form in a solid place around the cauliflower. So yes, slotted spoon just to get some of those drips out, then put it in an even layer and bake for 15 minutes. Then in a medium bowl, you want to combine your melted butter and buffalo sauce, whisk until it's combined. After about 15 minutes, you take the cauliflower out of the oven, brush on the buffalo sauce. I actually put my hot cauliflower in the bowl and just tossed it with the buffalo sauce. Then you put it back on the sheet pan. If you just brushed it on, great. And then you bake it again for another 10 to 15 minutes until the cauliflower is golden and tender. And then using a spatula, you want to transfer to a platter, sprinkle with your chopped chives, and serve with your dressing. People like to dip. So that is the recipe. And while we are not cooking today, I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. Um, We are not cooking today, but I wanted to just show you some things since I am in a store today because I didn't have internet at home. But cauliflower comes in lots of different colors. So you could get it in traditional white. We have it in green, in orange, or purple. And they all would be a little bit different looking. I use just plain white for my recipe, but I just wanted to show you that they do come in different colors, and that's what a head of cauliflower looks like. This is a unique purple one. So since I am not actually making it today, I'm just going to talk through what I did. So this is the first batch that came out of the oven. So first I took my milk and flour and seasonings and mixed them. I dunked the cauliflower in there, pulled it out with a slotted spoon, put it in here and baked it. So this is just out of the oven baked. And then you toss it with your melted butter and buffalo wing sauce. And then you pop it in the oven to bake again. And then this is what it looks like once it's baked again. Oops, I have my blur on. But yes, it's your little wings that you can pick up, dip in your dressing. They do look really good when you dump some chives on top of them, give them some green little specks. But that is basically our cauliflower buffalo bites. I thought I'd be making it for you today, but I am in a store, so I am not. I am going to share my screen one more time and tell you what is coming up. So, what is coming up if you would like to join our dietitian team in the future? Tomorrow, Living Well, Heart Smart Your Cart with Charlotte. Thursday, Coffee Chat. Again, we're talking about the big game, Shayna and I, and that's kind of a fun one for me. It's going to be my very first coffee chat. Um, and then next Monday, Meal Solutions Monday, a flyer to fork with Charlotte. And Tuesday, Fresh Finds, all about Valentine's Day with Jenna. I hope you join us for one of those classes. And thank you so much for joining me today. Take care. I'm going to stop the recording and stay on and answer your questions if you have any. But thank you again. Take care and stay warm. Bye.